Some speakers lined up. We're going to start with a pledge of allegiance to the flag, and he'll talk. He's a bulldog, and I like him. He's an attorney. He started out as a divorce attorney, but now he sort of got involved in the gun rights. He defended Jim Mapes in the Thornton Theater fiasco, and he won that. And he's also started something else called the Citizens Armory. I'll let him tell you about that. We have Tom Tancredo. And we have some more. I can't even remember who all is here. But Steve Schreiner's here. Steve has been, if you've never read his biography, you should look at him. He's done a lot for this state for gun rights too. Jim Winchester, he's on gun rights too. He was an attorney, don't hide, for the Department of Justice, and he's done a lot for us too. So, and some of you know Alicia over here, some of you don't. She's been great today. I've watched her. She's been doing interviews. She's been really good. And I'm not going to, shouldn't be telling you this, but when you look at her, it's hard to believe that she kills chickens and eats them. But she does. And she's got children. She's an all-American mom. And I believe for Valentine's Day, Sergio, her husband, gave her an AK-47. I'm going to turn this over to Robert, let him talk, and we're winging this. I'm definitely winging it because we just found out about it the past week. So we'll let Robert talk, and anytime somebody's got something to say, let me know. But we'll go through it. I want Tom to speak, and Steve to speak, and Dudley. Where's Dudley? Don't leave, Dudley. You're going to be talking too. So Dudley will be talking to everybody. And a lot of you know Dudley, and he does do a lot for this state. And he's been a fighter too. So, and we're all warriors here for our rights. This morning I had him ask me, why are we here? Well, we're here for our gun rights. That's why we're here. And I want my 10-year-old grandson to continue shooting. He shoots in competition with me, and I want him to have that right, and I want him to grow up with it. And I told him, for people that come from out of state and try to run our state and take over and tell us what to do, we're not going to allow that. That's so right. I'll hand it to Robert, and he'll take it over.
Thanks, Don, and I guess I have something to live up to because I didn't give my wife an AR-15. I gave her a SIG 226, but it's a two-tone, okay, 40 cal. She loves that gun. My name is Robert Wareham. I'm an attorney with the Law Center in Highlands Ranch. And I guess I sort of backed into this because I got up one morning and I was watching 9 News, and I saw that they had arrested someone for exercising their constitutional rights in the city of Thornton. A couple days later, I called Jim Mapes and I said, Jim, I'd like to help you. He says, I'm trying to sell my boat. I said, no, you didn't hear me. I'd like to help you. It took us less than a week, frankly, with the assistance of the media, pointing out that Thornton PD had taken a law-abiding citizen, pulled them out of a theater, perp-walked him across a parking lot, and charged him with a crime he didn't commit. That was underscored when the city prosecutor dismissed all the charges the following Tuesday, and if you know anything about the court system, that never happened. We didn't even file a motion, and they dismissed the charges. So that's the power of us getting our message out and letting them know we're not going to lie down, we're not going to be doormats, we are going to stand up for our rights, and we will do it through the legal system when we have to.
Right.
They referred it to the Adams County District Attorney, and we have a beautiful letter, which will be exhibit number 1 in our civil lawsuit, from one of the chief deputy attorneys, district attorneys there in Adams County, saying Mr. Mapes violated no laws. Well, last I checked, that's why we had a constitution that said you can't step up and seize someone and deprive them of their liberties and hold them in your police station when they have violated no laws. Now, despite our best efforts, folks, the railroad went through down at the state capitol. I sat there testifying before the judiciary committees. I had to pull every string I could to get at that table because they wanted to railroad it through without any thoughtful discussion of these bills. One of the bills that passed was SB 13197. They didn't sign it with all the rest of the bills because they were still moving it around in committee because they realized, frankly, how bad it was. It's the bill that said if you're charged with an act of domestic violence or you're the subject of a protection order to prevent domestic abuse, and if you were an attorney, you'd know how easy it is for those things to happen to you, then you have to relinquish your firearms and ammunition. And originally the bill said you may not be released from jail until you relinquish it. Do you folks see a logistics problem there? I turned to the author, I said, there's a little problem there, don't you think? Defendant's in jail, can't get out until he relinquishes firearms. I don't know. I kept watching that bill because I knew from the sheriff that I talked to down there that they weren't going to take the firearms. And how many of us want to turn our firearms over to a government agency anyway? So one of the things we did in response is we formed the Citizen Armory. Citizen Armory is a place where private citizens, when and if they need to, can store their firearms safely beyond the reach of the government. So we're doing that. I also have talked to several federal firearms licensee dealers. You know, they told them they can only charge $10 for a background check transfer. Well, most of them I talked to says I can't even afford to do it for that. So I have started the Colorado Association of Federal Firearms Licensees, and we've done that mainly for the purpose of filing a lawsuit to invalidate that portion of that statute. But that's what we need to do. But folks, you know, I thought about whether I was going to show up out here today. And then I said, there's no way I can't show up out here today because that's what the folks up there are counting on. They'll drive from New York to take our rights away. So we darn well better drive from Colorado Springs, Highlands Ranch, wherever, and get down here and let them know we are not going to surrender our rights to anyone. Thank you for coming today. Tom Vangredo.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. How could anyone, however, when that young lady right there in the pink, when she looks at you and says, will you come to this rally? I mean, who's going to tell her no, right? Not me, I'll tell you that right now. I'm happy to be here. Now, I also gave my wife a gun for her birthday. Now, she doesn't have exactly the same inclination as I do on these things, but she, you know, understands the need. She understands the need. So I gave her the judge. You know, 45 shoots a 45 caliber and a 410 shell on the same chamber. So because I thought, well, you know, is she going to need to actually aim that carefully if she's got just 410 shells in there, you know? And so I thought it'd be good for her to start out with. So I gave her the judge. So she says, oh, thank you very much. You know, which wasn't terribly excited, but she was okay with it. So comes my birthday. Now my birthday is December the 20th or June the 19th. So there's this box there under the tree, and that's oftentimes where my birthday present is. You know, it's with the others. And oh yeah, but I forgot. You got a birthday? Go pick one of those out under the tree. Anyway, so she says, that's your birthday present. So I went and got it. I opened it up, and I thought, this can't be right, because it was a Coach purse. But it was indeed what she was giving me for my birthday, and so I kind of got the message from her. At any rate, you know, I have to tell you, I did not come here today to. I heard on the radio coming over here that this was being billed as some sort of debate, protest, all that sort of thing. I'm not here to debate anybody. In fact, the one guy I would like to debate on this issue isn't here, and that's a guy by the name of Bloomberg. I wish he were here. And there's really only one or two questions I'd like to ask him, to tell you the truth. And that one is, if you think it is okay, which you apparently do, to have all these people around you, 4 or 5 people who are all armed for the purpose of protecting you, if you think that's okay, why then would you refuse that to anyone else who has the same intent, protecting themselves and the people they care about? That's really all I want to know from him.
Right on. Man, what would he say?
You know, somebody did confront him. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube thing or whatever. Somebody did confront him with that, and he just got all flustered. And he said, get this kid away from me. You know, and he jumps in the car and takes off. He doesn't want to answer a question like that because it's the basic thing we're all here for. We all believe that indeed we have the right to protect ourselves and our loved ones. He believes that he has the right to have people around him protecting him, but somehow that right doesn't extend to us. But that's the whole thing with the elitists that, you know, we have to deal with all the time. People who actually believe they have the ability to tell you how to live your life. But as I say, I really didn't come here to debate. I came here because I have the same kind of concern that I'm sure many of the people over there have. I have a concern because I still have heartache about what happened at a school about 1.5 miles from my home at the time, called Columbine High School. I'd only been in Congress for just a few months. I will never forget it as long as I live, watching the thing up on the screen in my office and saying, you know, that cannot be Columbine, cannot be the school by my house in Littleton, Colorado. This just can't be happening. And I have the same heartache that people have about Platte Canyon High School, and I have the same heartache that people have about the Aurora shooting. Believe me, I have a heartache about all of these things. And I am absolutely committed to do everything I possibly can to see that these things never happen. And the one thing that we know for sure is that the only way to stop a bad man with a gun is a what? Good man with that. Right? That's it. That's the thing you can be sure of, that's the best way, that's the most effective way. We all know that. And how I wish and pray that nothing like this happens again. And how I wish that it had never happened, and how I wish that there had been someone at all of these places who had been armed and who had been trained and who had been willing to defend himself and the people in those schools and in that theater. I mean, it is the world in which we live. It is a right we have that I certainly will, I'm sure, to be, as long as I have breath in my body, I will be defending. But anyway, you know, this is it is the spirit in which I am here. I truly, it's not my purpose. I don't want to argue with them. I don't want to, you know, I'm not here to do anything but to say I have the same heartaches. And I believe we have a solution to these problems. It is called, you know, a good man or a good woman with a gun.